This is my chicken Alfredo recipe. It's creamy and dreamy and an Italian nightmare. For this recipe, we're gonna be using some chicken breast cutlets. You don't have to use the cutlets, I just like how they're nice and thin. Whenever I'm making a heavier pasta, I always like to pair it with a lean cut of protein. In a bowl, combine some garlic powder, a nice spoonful of black pepper, touches of onion powder, some dried flat leaf parsley, chili powder, and then we're gonna finish with a little flour and some salt. We're gonna call this Italian seasoning, so maybe they could forgive us. I've recently been mixing all the seasonings together before I apply them on the chicken. That way there's equal distribution across every bite. Chicken breast gets some oil, and then you already know the vibes, we season generously. Remember, if their color don't change, no flavor was gained. I'm gonna let these marinate in the fridge for a couple minutes because I want them to be nice and warm to top off the pasta. And they are on the thinner side, so they'll finish really quickly. To start off the pasta vibes, we're gonna need some fresh heartburn. I'm just gonna take off that little stem, slice it a couple times, and then just get it nice and fine like you. And I already had these prepped, but I like to chop up the onions nice and small too. At this point, I'm boiling the water so I can cook the pasta. I have a hot oven and the chicken is marinating. And I wanna compile the recipe almost all at once, and I wanna develop the flavor in one pan. In a medium hot pan, snuggle in the chicken. Don't twist it and turn it. Once you lay them in, let them develop that beautiful crust. When they naturally peel off the pan, they're ready to flip. I'm gonna give them a couple more minutes on the other side. In the center, they're still raw. Transfer them to a baking dish. Into the oven at 350 as you work on the rest of the dish. In the same pan drippings, we're gonna go in with our white onion. Just give them a nice sweat because I do not want to feel their texture in the sauce. And you see those cute little pan drippings? I like to splash in just a little bit of stock. Deglaze and let those onions soak up all that flavor. When the onions have softened for a couple minutes, go in with the heartburn. Add in grass-fed butter so it's healthy. As soon as it melts, go in with that seasoning mix from earlier. See how the onions have turned nice and soft and they're almost like butter? That is exactly what I'm looking for. I do not want much of their texture. And now to really begin the Italian nightmare, we're gonna go in with some heavy cream. Y'all might be into that unseasoned chicken Alfredo, but mine has to have a little bit of color. Okay, so bring this up to a light bubble. When the cream starts to argue back, grate in some Parmesan cheese. If you see the cream separating and fighting for its life, that means the pan is way too hot. This is on a very nice light bubble, but it is not burning or scorching. I like to keep adding Parmesan cheese till it gets nice and thick. And this is the perfect time to test for seasoning. You wanna do it after you add the Parmesan cheese because it's very salty. Look how creamy and thick that is. Make sure you always save your pasta water. And now we go in with our al dente fettuccini. If you feel like it's getting a little bit too thick, add more pasta water. At this point, your chicken should be fully cooked through. I can't tell you exactly how much to keep them in the oven because they're gonna vary in size, but these took about 12 minutes. Always let them rest before you cut into them. I like to slice them into thin, bite-sized pieces just because I want them easier to eat with the pasta. I like to top the pasta off with the chicken in the same pan. I just feel like it gives it a nice little rustic look. I'm gonna finish off with a little bit more cheese because at this point, the damage has been done. Then I'm gonna finish off with fresh parsley because we're healthy. And for record's sake, authentically speaking, Alfredo is not served with any chicken or shrimp, and it's simply 3 ingredients, which is fettuccine, the pasta water, a little butter, and Parmesan cheese. But sometimes you gotta live a little and eat this. We love both variations around here. Just everything about this pasta is so beautifully creamy. For the first bite, we gotta get a little chicken in there. And as always, now bismillah. That is out of this world. It's so well seasoned, and like typical restaurants, you don't have that layer of oil that just sits on top, and everything in that bite was so flavorful. I don't know about y'all, but nothing is better than a nice pot of pasta.